Yeah.
You want to like him, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. We straight gangsters over here,
Straight
man.
gangsters.
Ah.
Yeah, good morning. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning, November 13th, and you are listening to Scout Team Sports. We are the Scout Team. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Yes, that is all true. And the man on the other microphone is the great patriot himself, the legend in his own mind, and that would be...
Yeah, it's your boy. Chris America here. Loudbeard, I'm a little sad. The childhood in me, a piece of my childhood went away yesterday, bud. Stan Lee, 95, great man, great creator, great imagination, blessed the world with so many good storylines. Loudbeard, Stan Lee, gone at 95. Can you believe it?
It's unbelievable, Chris America, and one of my favorite movies of all time, and this is a little underrated movie, I think, is Mallrats. And I remember Stan Lee doing a great scene in Mallrats with Jason Lee, and I just want our listeners to listen, and this is a tribute right now to Stan Lee.
Aren't you? Oh, Stanley. Hi. The Fantastic Four, Reed Richards. Can his whole body stretch? I mean, every part, like his...
I know what you mean. We never really
Good old
tackled
Stan
stuff
Lee.
like that
Good
in
guy.
the old days. I mean, what with the comic book code and all.
I can't believe I'm standing here talking to you. You're responsible for the greats. Let's do the list. Spider-Man.
Guilty.
The Incredible Hulk.
Afraid so.
Oh, man, this is so cool. The X-Men.
Now that you mention it,
Shit, man, you are a god.
hey, look at that couple. Boy, they sure seem to be in love, huh?
What's with that? That's the second time you've commented on couples in love.
Well, I like that sort of thing. Tell me, do you have a girlfriend, Birdie?
Had one. We just broke up. The Thing. Is this dork made of orange rock like the rest of his body?
It's a superhero.
That's a good time there with Stan Lee. Man, you were right. I bring the energy to start us off, but I feel like I lost that energy a little bit because the great Stan Lee is one of just the legends in comics. Without Stan Lee, we would never have had these great Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four. The list goes on and on and on. And this guy, everybody knows who Stan Lee is. He's been doing cameos in all of the great Marvel movies for years. He's just been, even as of last year, I think he was doing the comic book conventions. The guy just never stopped. He kept going and going and going. And he was getting old. He's 95 years old. You'd think eventually the end would come, but when it comes, you're still not ready for it, are you, Chris America?
No, you're not. And that I don't think Jason Lee, who was the other character in that scene, the other actor in that scene, Jason Lee and Stan Lee, two of the greats, man. I love Jason Lee. I love his comedy. I love a lot of his work. My Name is Earl is one of my favorite shows. And yeah, you're not ready for it, just like Jason Lee wasn't ready to meet Stan Lee. And one of the cool things about Stan Lee is he had a really bad licensing deal in the 80s and 90s. I can't remember who it was with, if it was with Fox or whatever. But he didn't care. He didn't care that he lost out on probably billions of dollars on that movie licensing deal because he just wanted his creation to be made. He just wanted it to be shared. He wanted it to, get across the world, get his message out. A message of, like he said before, it's a message of imagination, a message of power. He wanted to do a message of love. And you see it throughout all of his comics of just, we need to come together as a unified front. We need to accept each other's differences, just all those underlying tones that were underneath all of the superheroes that he wanted to convey. And the fact that he never won a Nobel Peace Prize for literature is beyond me, but I think they need to give it to him now.
Yeah, everything that you said is true, man. Stan Lee, he was kind of guess, evolutionary with all of what he had done with comics. There's so much behind the stories with Stan Lee. We could go on for hours talking about all the great things that he's done in the world and all the joy that he's brought to kids and to adults. And yeah, I mean, Marvel was on the brink of bankruptcy in the 90s, and he had to make a couple deals. At that point, I don't know that he was the one making all the decisions, but all of them affected him financially because of the stake in the game for him, because he was the creator of all the big names when it came to Marvel Comics. And they had to make a couple deals with the devil, and they did. They made some deals with Fox and Universal, and they sold some of their rights, and now they're working on getting them back. But as we stand right now, this is just a day. Yesterday, I saw all the love on all of social media. It didn't matter who it was, what political stance they had, what their background was, whatever it was. Everybody loved Stan Lee, and they were giving him respect yesterday on all social media platforms. It was great to see the country come together and give a honorable tribute to a man that has changed the world of entertainment forever.
Yes, and well said, Loudbeard. I couldn't say it anymore. And you said we brought down the show. I don't want to bring down the show because I don't think Stan Lee would want us to be sad that he's gone. I think Stan Lee knows that he lived the best life he could have asked for. That was something that I've always enjoyed about Stan Lee, even throughout the last 15 years. You can tell that he knew he was on one of the greatest rides of all time, and he was going to milk it out. Every single cameo he had, you could just see that look on his face that he just loved being there. He loved that his stories were coming to life and that they were getting across. And I think he'd want us to just celebrate his life and celebrate who he was rather than be sad and down about it. So that's what we're going to do the rest of the show. We're just going to be upbeat. We're going to celebrate Loudbeard. And finally, the New York Giants have a reason to celebrate. They string together a comeback win this time. It looked like they were going to be another down-and-out game, down 20-10 at one point in the third quarter. And they come back to win 24, I believe it was. No, 27-23. Yeah, 27-23 was the final score. Loudbeard, did you watch any of the game, or did you pass out on this one? Because it wasn't the matchup people were hoping it was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, this was a tough game to kind of sit all the way through. No, I did not make it till the end. I cannot lie to you, Chris America. I am a trustworthy fellow. But I will say that Eli Manning needed this. He needed a victory. This was everything that they needed. One, you get the come-from-behind victory. Two, you get Odell Beckham extremely involved in your offense, so you get him hyped up. And three, you actually get a win. So the New York Giants will have their moment to shine. This does not mean anything on their season, though, because they are now only a 2-win team, and they beat another 2-win team that is on their third-string quarterback. So I don't know that I would give a whole lot of credence to this victory, other than it being a moral victory for the Giants. So now that they can go back, maybe have a little bit more confidence, maybe people can stop giving Eli Manning such a hard time, because we know Eli is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, even though he's been terrible for the last 4 years. And now the Giants can go back, and next week when they play a real team, they will get destroyed, and everything will be all normal in the world. Don't you agree?
Thank you, Negative Nancy. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. We've both seen our teams go through really, really bad seasons, and when you're in the desert of a bad season, every single win seems like, you know what, today I'm just going to take a break from being negative about my team, and I'm just going to enjoy it. We saw that with Cleveland Browns fans this weekend also. They kind of reverted back to their negative ways, to their desert of despair, where they're like, oh, our team sucks again. But then when they won on Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons, they were back to being just joyful. Let's celebrate it. Let's take it all in. And I think Giants fans, you need to look to Cleveland Browns fans and just do the same thing today. Just take it in. Don't worry about tomorrow. Let tomorrow and next week that Loudbeard is telling you about with all of his negativity. Let's worry about that tomorrow or on next Sunday. But today, let's celebrate the win. Let's celebrate the fact that Eli Manning looked perfect on the game-winning drive. And Loudbeard, I did watch the end of the game. I didn't watch the whole game. I kind of watched the first part of the first half.
Was Matlock on? You can't
No,
miss
I was
Matlock.
actually
I know
playing
you
that
watch Matlock every week.
I do. And then I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2 in between. And then after I turned it off at like 10:45, 11, I watched the final 4 minutes. I watched the final drive. It was pretty fun to watch. Eli kind of looked like old school Eli, just hitting his receivers in stride, hitting them on point. And then Nick Mullins, man, handed to that guy. He came back as well. They got down to about the 21 with 1 second left, and then they just pressured him. He's still a guy still trying to learn, and he just kind of overthrew it out of bounds, trying to force something down there. So his comeback fell short, or we'd be talking about Nick Mullins being great again.
Yeah, he had a good game. He had a couple turnovers, and that always kills your team when you have a few interceptions. I feel like the team that handles the ball the best without the turnovers is usually the one that comes out on top, and that's what happened in this game. The Giants, Eli Manning in his career has been a little bit of an interception guy, but he ends up with no interceptions and 3 touchdowns. His stat line looked great. He actually put performance on the field. It's good to see Eli being like old Eli. Maybe he needed to just jumpstart his season. Maybe the Giants will make a run. You never know. They're 2-7 right now. And the best thing, I said this. I said, okay, they'll come back down to earth next week. But I did not realize. I just looked ahead, and they're playing the Buccaneers next week. The Giants might go on a winning streak, Chris America.
Let's do it.
This is a bold prediction.
There you go.
New York Football Giants might go on a winning streak because they get the lowly Tampa Bay Buccaneers next week, and they may just have the opportunity to build on the successes that they saw on Monday Night Football.
And Loudbeard, I know you love when I talk about my fantasy football team. You just brought joy to my ears because Saquon Barkley did not do well last night. I mean, he did okay. 20 rushes, 67 yards, and then he had 4 catches for 23 yards. Or, sorry, not 23 yards, but 33 yards. So nothing great. So hearing that he's going to be playing against the the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we're going to see classic, old school Saquon Barkley, the Saquon Barkley we've been used to all these weeks. So classic, old school Saquon Barkley next week.
That doesn't even make sense. But nice try. Saquon Barkley, he's got to do better, man. We need to see more out of this guy. Going against the Bucs defense, yeah, that's gonna help out. You're right. You're gonna see classic Saquon Barkley where he had one good game earlier in the year, but this is gonna be a great game for the Giants to see if they are pretenders or if they're gonna be legit trying to work their way back into this season. Now, is it too early in the season, Chris America, for fans to start saying like, "Oh man, why did we win? We want to get an early draft pick. We want to get that best quarterback coming out. We want to get that another early draft pick so we can go ahead and build on our season." Do you think Giants fans are at that point in their season where they would say that from last night's win that they probably shouldn't have won it? Or do you think it's never too late because the division is kind of down this year? I mean, the Redskins are sitting up top at 6-3 with the Giants at 2-7. It would be pretty hard for them to climb back in, but there's always that chance. There's crazier things have happened. The Eagles and the Cowboys aren't sitting much better with 4 wins. So I don't know. Maybe the Giants feel like they have a shot, or do you think fans are thinking, man, we're blowing the opportunity to get the number 1 draft pick?
Well, I know before this win, Odell Beckham Jr. was thinking we're going to make the playoffs, and he was tweeting out, or he said in an interview, he said somewhere that they're going to win 8 in a row and make the playoffs, finish the season 9-7 strong. And, hey, he's 1 week into that prediction, and so far he's so good. But if I'm a New York Giants fan, yeah, you want to see that playoff run, but at the same time, you also want your future quarterback. And I don't know how Giants fans have felt about looking into the college landscape, and if they see their quarterback in the future right now, maybe they want Tua. Is Tua coming out this year, or is he still just a sophomore? I feel like no, because he's the same as came out the year after Mackenzie Milton, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Last year he was redshirted though, right? So
yeah, so
last year was his first year of eligibility, and then this year. So I think he's a sophomore.
So, okay, we'll have to look into that. If it's his third year in football, then he can come out and draft. And then maybe I would want the New York Giants to tank for Tua, because that would be an amazing transition going from Eli Manning to Tua Tagovailoa. But I don't know, man. I don't know that I ever want to wish my team to lose. Like, I would love to see, if I'm a New York Giants fan, them to win 8 in a row and go to the playoffs, and then it's anybody's ball game in the playoffs. We've seen it with the Giants before, where they went in at 10-6 as a wild card and made it through the playoffs and won the Super Bowl. So, if there's any fan base that thinks they can do some noise in the playoffs, it's the New York Giants fan base.
Yeah, I agree. And Tua's a true sophomore, so he's going to be in one more year.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was
You're
pretty
not
sure
going to be
he
in
came
the
out.
Tua race.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he came out the year after, or he came into college the year after Mackenzie Milton did. The two Hawaiian flying quarterbacks.
Hawaiian Flyings. Yeah, I mean, the Giants do need to look at the future. I don't think that they could feel very confident with what Eli Manning brings to the field. I think they're ready to move on from Eli Manning. It's hard to, because he has been such a great New York Giants quarterback. I mean, just the fact that he has brought 2 Super Bowls in the fashion that he had won both of those Super Bowls, beating Tom Brady, beating it with come-from-behind victory-style wins. I mean, this guy right now is, like, on the top of the Mount Rushmore of New York Giant players of all time, sitting up there with Lawrence Taylor and I don't know who else you would put up there, but this guy is one of those guys, and it's hard to move on from that. It's hard to move on when you have an aging superstar that's trying to keep going, and it's time to move on and get younger. You got Odell Beckham, who is a young, in his prime wide receiver. You got Saquon Barkley, who back in his day could run really good and then had one bad game, and so now he needs to go back to his old school ways. You got to get younger at quarterback. They got to bring in somebody electric. They need an early draft pick, and they need somebody to work out and work out quickly. They need their next Patrick Mahomes. They need their next Nick Mullins. They need one of these guys that comes up out of college football to bring this team back. And, yeah, it could be a guy that sits behind Eli for a year. I would be okay with that. But that is about it. I think you get 1 year. You draft a guy this year. You give him 1 year behind Eli, and then you got to move on. And that's what the Giants got to do. I mean, that's going to be a difficult decision to make, and it's going to be hard to move forward. Hopefully Eli cooperates and maybe does one of those graceful bow-outs and retires and you know, I want to retire a Giant type deals. But you never know. Eli may think that he's got more left in the tank. And we'll see what happens with that. But it'll be interesting as it all plays out.
Yeah, it will be. And Eli Manning's play surprised a lot of us last night, myself included. But Loudbeard, will we get another NFL surprise? Will Le'Veon Bell report today? Today's reporting day. Everybody's saying it's unlikely. And I just see a headline here that says Le'Veon Bell's agent didn't know that running back is eligible for a quarterback franchise tag. Le'Veon, you need to fire your agent if that's the case. And Loudbeard, what do you think are the chances if you were a gambling aficionado? What would you set the line at, or what would you set the odds at that Le'Veon Bell reports?
I'm going to say there's 100% chance that he does not report. Okay, 99. Nothing's 100%. I'm not a weatherman.
So you're like 1,000,000,000 to 1 odds.
Yeah, we'll say 1,000,000 to 1 odds. 1,000,000 to 1.
Yeah, I like those odds. I would put $1 on that just so I can get $1 million just on the off chance that he reports.
Yeah, man, this has been messy. We've talked about it quite a bit, but it doesn't seem to be going away. And I guess we'll get some conclusion to this season's Le'Veon Bell mess today after the end of, I don't know, do they cut it off at 4 or something? Whatever that cutoff is.
Yeah, I don't know what the deadline. Yeah, it is 4. Yeah, it's 4 p.m. Tuesday.
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Yep.
Yep. And so when they cut him off, that'll be it. So this afternoon when we're getting off of work, we're going to say, oh, thank goodness I don't have to talk about this guy anymore. Like,
well, that's
finally.
if he doesn't. That's only if he doesn't sign. If he does sign, then it just keeps the drama going, doesn't it? Because then you got to start talking about, does he start? How much does he play? How many carries does he get? What does it mean for James Conner? What can he do to get back on the good graces of his offensive line? Like, there's so many storylines if he reports, and there's absolutely no storylines if he doesn't report.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we do like storylines because we talk about sports every morning,
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, weekdays, 6 a.m. on 12-ounce Sports Radio, and we drop our podcast. So we like to talk about sports news, but you're right. Like this Le'Veon Bell, maybe him signing would be a better deal because we would talk about it. I was looking through, I think it was one of the major media outlets had a early season MVP top 5 type list, and I was looking through it, and James Conner was listed as the 5th player on that for MVP this year, and it kind of took me back. I didn't think about it, and it had Patrick Mahomes number 1, Drew Brees number 2, Todd Gurley number 3, Phillip Rivers number 4, which is surprisingly on there, but the more I thought about it, yes, Phillip Rivers needs to be on there. And then number 5 was James Conner. I mean, that's a heck of a list for James Conner to be included in, considering the circumstances to where we're at today with the Pittsburgh Steelers and their running back situation. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I thought, man, James Conner, he is that good and that important to this team.
And it's well-deserved that he's on that list, too. I mean, he's had a fantastic year, and you mentioned it. It's probably system. And I didn't believe you because we've seen – D'Angelo Williams do well for a couple weeks, and then he kind of fell off. And we've seen other running backs in that system not do so well. Maybe it's the system, or maybe just James Conner is just as good, if not a little bit less than Le'Veon Bell is, and the Steelers are just really good at developing and finding running backs.
Well, it could be both. He's a very good running back, and he's in a good system. I mean, we can live with that. And we need to give him the credit, and he deserves that credit. And you've been very high on him for a lot of weeks. And the more I watch this guy, the more impressed I am. And, Pittsburgh kind of got away from their running attack a little bit, and that's when they were struggling. That's when they tied the Cleveland Browns. And then when they got back to it, and James Conner's just running all over the field, that's when they started really winning again. And that is their key to success. They've got to utilize the man that can carry their team. And yes, they've got superstars like Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger, but run the ball. That is the key to success. I talked about it yesterday. The Browns, run the ball. You got Chubb, man. Run the ball. The Steelers, you got James Conner. Run the ball. These teams that understand that if they can be successful running the ball, they can win. Those are the teams that are doing well right now. And the teams that are trying to just force the ball through the air every down, like a Ryan Fitzpatrick, those are the teams that are struggling right now. You have to establish a running game, and if you can't, you become one-dimensional. Teams will focus in on you, and defenses get better as the season goes on. So we, these teams have to really just get into the running game, and you see a guy like James Conner become so valuable.
Yeah, man. And Loudbeard, you brought up another person in that 5 list, and his name is Phillip Rivers, and I need to eat an idiot sandwich. I've been really low on the Chargers since we've started.
An idiot sandwich.
Yes. I'm an idiot sandwich. I've been very low on the Chargers because the Chargers have stung me too many times. Too many times have the Chargers come in as this sexy favorite, the Super Bowl championship favorite to come in, or everybody's sexy pick to have, and they've always let me down. They've always let everybody else down, and they've never, ever come through with it. But the Chargers right now have been quietly winning football games, and they're quietly sitting 7-2 and firmly planted as one of the top AFC teams in the AFC. And nobody's talking about him, Loudbeard. We haven't talked about him. I listen to 12-ounce sports. I listen to all over sports radio, to Eisen, to the Jacksonville sports radio, to our local sports radio. I watch ESPN, and every so often, I have to watch the Sports Turd to see what they're talking about. But nobody is talking about the Chargers. What gives, Loudbeard?
Well, like you said, too many people have been bit for too long on the Chargers. The Chargers are kind of like the Jaguars. I had the Jaguars as one of my favorite teams for 2-3 years straight, and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm not going to fall for it again. I'm not going to fall for it. And last year they ended up making it to the AFC Championship game. And this year I'm like, okay, fine. I'm doing it again. I'm going to fall for the Jaguars, and they're 3-6 or 3-7. The Chargers are the same way. Every year you're thinking, okay, Phillip Rivers, he's a great quarterback. They've got to good defense. They got, Joey Bosa over there, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a real strong defense. Oh, Melvin Gordon, great running back. Okay, they got all the pieces, a good wide receiver in Keenan Allen. They have all the pieces to be successful. Now, they haven't put all of it together at once, and, they've been kind of that 8-8, maybe 9-7, maybe 10-6, trying to squeak into the playoffs every year. But we always thought they could be better. And this is a year where all of the pieces seem to be coming together at the right time. And the Chargers are just quietly doing their business. Nobody's talking about them. I know when I say, okay, what teams am I looking at that could make the Super Bowl this year? I always bring up the Rams, the Chargers. I said the Chargers. The Rams, the Chiefs, the Saints. Those are like the three teams I talk about. Never once do I bring up the Chargers. And that's on me because I should be talking about the Chargers. Everybody should be talking about the Chargers because a guy like Phillip Rivers has had a sensational year, and, he's a good leader. He's a great leader for this team, and I think his veteran presence is going to be enough this year to help carry this team a very long way. So maybe this is the year of the Chargers. Maybe this is their send-off to San Diego saying, I'm sorry we left you, but here's a championship to rub in your face.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that would be hilarious. I mean, they're the redheaded stepchild of L.A., so if they won it before the Rams won it in L.A., I think that would be huge. And then maybe they win it in L.A., and then they're like, you never appreciated us, L.A. We're moving to Orlando, where we will be loved, and it would be awesome. The Orlando Chargers.
Yep. I like it. I like it.
Well,
Orlando.
Loudbeard, I was looking at their coaching roster. I didn't realize they have an all-star coordinating roster. They have Ken Wisenhunt, which was an awful coach, but a really good offensive coordinator, really good offensive mind. And then they have Gus Bradley as their defensive coordinator. You mentioned the Jacksonville Jaguars letting you down so many times. Gus Bradley was a part of that. But sometimes these guys are just really, really good coordinators, and that's okay. They're not good head coaches, but really good coordinators, and that's what Anthony Lynn's put together over there. I didn't realize those two guys were the coordinators there the last 2 years.
Yeah, no, that is an all-star cast. I mean, Ken Wisenhunt, he had his downs, lots of downs, but he was also the guy over there in Arizona when we had that Super Bowl run, that magical Super Bowl run with Larry Fitzgerald, and you had Kurt Warner at the end of his career, and Ken Wisenhunt was a part of that. And that is the offense that I'd love to see, and that's what you're getting out of the Chargers. And the same thing with Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley could never do anything on offense with the Jaguars, but he was a great defensive mind. And before he went to the Jaguars, he was a part of that Legion of Boom. And in Seattle, that was one of the toughest defenses to ever come along in the NFL. That secondary was just so vicious, and Gus Bradley was a huge part of that. So you're talking about two guys that at points in their career were the best in their areas of offense and defense, putting them together, and you're seeing that come together. And the Chargers, 7-2, deserve all the accolades that we need to be giving them, even though maybe they want to be under the radar. And that's what some of these teams want to do. They want to go under the radar. They don't want to be talked about all the time, and that's fine too. You can go under the radar, but once playoffs come, and I firmly believe the Chargers will be in the playoff picture, and they will be a big part of that discussion. Once playoffs come, the Chargers can make some noise.
Yeah, man, and we've seen it. We mentioned those two guys. Another guy that jumps off the page to me that was just not a really good coach, and his head coaching tenure makes you think that he's just a bad coach. But Wade Phillips, another guy, defensive coordinator, he helped lead the Broncos to their Super Bowl win. He's got the Rams defense doing lots of things right now, and the Rams on top. Some of these guys just need to realize they're just good coordinators, and that's okay. And some fans need to realize that just because you're a bad head coach doesn't mean you don't know football, and it doesn't mean you can't coach at all. Sometimes it just means they're just a really good coordinator, and that's why they got their shot. And some guys just can't do the head coaching thing. Because like you said, Wisenhunt, great on offense, couldn't get that defense sorted out, and Gus Bradley always had the Jaguars' defense running on all cylinders, but the offense was just a house of horrors.
And that's why Hugh Jackson has a job now.
Tune in after the break to find out where he's working.
That's right.
I hope it's a dog pound.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. "12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst."
Oh, guess who it is? Did you know the station had a janitor? Oh yeah, the Jefe, otherwise known as Beck. And it's Beck's Work Week in Review live on 12-ounce sports radio every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch interviews, special guests, and the recap of the week's news and headlines and box scores and results. It's Beck's Work Week in Review live on 12-ounce sports radio.
Scout Team listeners and friends of the show, I've got something special for you. It looks like 12-ounce sports radio has done it again. We have partnered with Rally House. You just go to the website 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner on the right side of the page, and it will take you directly to Rally House. Rally House has some of the greatest, most unique sports items for that diehard fan, casual fan, and anybody and everybody out there that is special in your life. So go ahead and check it out. Once again, go to that website, 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner to the right of the page, and you will get taken to the best sports merchandise website on all of the interweb. Do you own a small business? Are you looking for solutions to all of your communications, problems, and challenges that you have? Check out Ring Central. Give them a call. They have partnered with 12ozsportsradio.com to give you the best rates on all of your business and office solutions for communication. Give them a call today. We have a dedicated line for all of the 12-ounce sports radio listeners. It is 1-877-779-3860. You will get a representative on the phone who will help you with all of your small business communications needs. Once again, give them a call today, 1-877-779-3860. And welcome back. Thank you so much. You are listening to Scout Team Sports. We are the Scout Team. He's Chris America. I'm Loudbeard, and we bring it to you hot every morning at 6 a.m. and again at 11 a.m. on 12ozsportsradio.com. You can also catch all of our old episodes. You can catch our show after it airs as it drops live on our podcast. That's found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and anywhere you can find a podcast, including our website, scoutteamradio.com. Man, we love being on 12-ounce sports radio. Always a great lineup ahead of us. Make sure you check it out. Memphis Spence with the College Credit Hour coming on at noon. It's a great Tuesday, one of the best shows on 12-ounce sports radio. We also got a lot of great stuff coming up, so make sure you stay tuned to the radio station because it is a good time. Man, Chris America, you just can't keep a good coach down. There's just some coaches that you think they get a good gig. They're going over to ESPN and just talking about how great of a coach they were. And then all of a sudden it's like, nope, Cincinnati, maybe Cincinnati, right? That was the tease. I kind of gave away the tease already. Sorry about that. Cincinnati just gobbles up Hugh Jackson. They take him in.
Like the city, like he's going to be the mayor of Cincinnati?
He's the king of Cincinnati.
Or are we talking about, wait, hold on.
He's too beneath that.
Hold on. Cincinnati's coming to Orlando for the primetime ESPN College Game Day Game of the Week. Cincinnati's coming to play UCF. Are you telling me that Hugh Jackson's going to be Cincinnati's head coach?
No. The wrong Cincinnati. You're talking about the Cincinnati Bearcats.
The Cincinnati
I'm talking
Reds.
About
the Cincinnati
bigger
Reds
Bearcats.
needed a new manager. The Cincinnati Reds needed a new manager, so they've hired Hugh Jackson to manage their team. Or is he going to be their bat boy?
He's going to be their Batman.
Oh, Batman.
I'm Batman.
Where is she?
Where's who? Hugh Jackson?
Hugh Jackson, where is he? You keep talking about Cincinnati. I keep throwing things out to you, and you're shooting them all down. I'm very disappointed he's none of these things.
He is none of those things. Now, Hugh Jackson, he has a great relationship with Marvin Lewis. He has been on this staff before. Marvin Lewis has given him a opportunity. I don't think the position itself has been quite confirmed. We don't know what exactly position he is going to be doing. All we know is that he has been brought on to Marvin Lewis's staff in Cincinnati to help this team out. And, you know, Hugh Jackson is a great football mind. Again, one of those guys that maybe should not be a head coach. He should just maybe not even consider being a head coach because it does not seem like that's a good place for him. But he could be a great coordinator, and maybe that's where he just needs to be. He just needs to be a coordinator and stay in that role, and maybe that's what he's going to go do, and that could be the end.
Well, Loudbeard, I just have an anonymous source just texted my phone. He's listening to the show. He's deep into the Cincinnati Bengals program, and he says that Hugh Jackson, he says, have you heard of the Get Back coach? You've heard of that, right? The Get Back coach?
Get back! Get back!
Yeah. He's not going to be the Get Back coach. He's going to be the Not That coach. And what the Not That coach is Hugh Jackson's going to throw out an idea to the coaching staff, and then they're going to say, okay, not that, the opposite of that. That's what we're going to run. So they go and they say, Hugh Jackson, what should we do? And then Hugh Jackson says, you should not call a timeout here. And they go, okay, not that. We're going to call a timeout in this situation, and let's save us from going to overtime. So he's going to be their Not That coach.
All right, I like it. Not that. Not that.
Not that. Let's ask Hugh what he thinks, and then we just say not that, and we do the complete opposite of what that is. So if Hugh
Not
Jackson
that.
says let's take it into overtime or let's play for the tie, they say not that. We're definitely not doing that. Let's do the complete opposite of that.
Not that.
Sometimes
I like
when you're in an idea creative room, you need bad ideas to help you come up with the good ideas, Loudbeard. And that's what Hugh Jackson is there for.
You know, every time Hugh Jackson is in the room, I'm thinking, this is what's going through his head.
How the hell do you know that?
Because I'm a genius.
That's right. Live there, Hugh Jackson take.
Hugh Jackson take. Now, when he was on the sideline as a head coach, I had a feeling what was going on in his head was.
Wow.
I was waiting
That's
for you
cool.
to stop me, but you weren't. So I was like, I'm
I just
committed
wanted you
now.
to keep going.
I'm committed, so I have to keep going.
All right. I don't want to talk about Hugh Jackson anymore. I feel like he has earned enough talk by Browns fans for a lot of years. Maybe we should just let the poor guy go. Let him be happy in Cincinnati. That's where people go. It's where dreams are made. It's the city of love, the city of dreams. I don't even know what Cincinnati's known for. Moving on. Hey, this is a fun side story. The Cincinnati Bengals played the Saints this past weekend, got blown out, but apparently ahead of the game, there was a fire alarm at the stadium that just kept going off. It went off for like 10 to 20 minutes. A lot of people were saying Sean Payton got so annoyed that he started smashing fire alarms in the locker room. And now that's a real coach right there. How many times has Hugh Jackson smashed a fire alarm at a stadium? That's what I want to know. I don't think that many times. Sean Payton, he's a real football guy. He's a real football coach.
I'm just glad that he put a bounty on fire alarms and not football players this time. So that's one of the positives of that story. But yeah, and then he said he'll pay for it himself. He's like, I got the side cash. I can pay for all these broken fire alarms. Hopefully, the stadium doesn't burn down between now and then.
I mean, if he smashed one fire alarm or a couple fire alarms and the whole system just goes down, maybe it needs to be replaced anyway.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. Brandon Marshall signs with the Saints. Sean Payton likes that guy. They say, Des Bryant doesn't work out. Let's go plan B. Brandon Marshall coming in hot, officially signs. And that is all I have about the Saints this week. Sorry, that's it.
That was Saints News, brought to you by Loudbeard.
Yeah.
All right, Loudbeard, you talked about fire alarms. You talked about hot. Well, one of the hottest celebrities, one of my biggest celebrity crushes is the beautiful, the mystifying, the great Halle Berry. And I don't know if you caught the Rams game this weekend or not. I didn't, but apparently Jared Goff used the audible Halle Berry as an audible, and Halle Berry wanted to know what it was, Loudbeard. And I started scrolling through some of the responses, and I think it's good to bring back the thinker or the stinker segment.
Or the stinker.
That segment?
Yeah, that segment. So we got a few good ones here that I got. A lot of some celebrities, some non-celebrities that I went through. Loudbeard, we'll start off with Nike Football. I'll just tell you who they are, just so it kind of makes more sense and you can make your decision. Nike Football said it means a storm is coming, and then they tweeted a GIF or a GIF of Halle Berry as Storm. Is that a thinker or a stinker?
Oh, that's a thinker. Well, you're throwing in X-Men. We're thinking about Stan Lee right now in this very dark times of Marvel Comics when the great creator himself is no longer with us. I have to say, thinker to you, Nike, a storm is coming.
All right, so this is a two-parter, Loudbeard. So it's a comment, and then the reply is what I really want you to judge on. Kurt Warner, number 13, we talked about him earlier in the show, about that Super Bowl run. He said, did it work? That's all that matters. You don't want to have to throw out Halle Berry. And then a man by the name of Xavier Hoods replied, sir, I would vow never to throw out Halle Berry.
Oh, come on. That's definitely a thinker.
Yeah.
You would never, ever throw out Halle Berry.
Why would you throw out Halle Berry? Like, Halle Berry can stay as long as she wants.
Yep, she's in.
She's definitely in. All right, Loudbeard, here's one guy that took it a little seriously, but it was still I thought it was a good. I don't want to, taint the jury pool there. You're the judge here with the thinker stinker. Halle Berry is a hot route for the tight end out of an H-back set. My guess is the initials HB for H-back plus tight end plus hot equals Halle Berry.
Wow. That's a stinker. I'm giving that one a stinker. You know why? Because somebody put way too much thought into that. They actually went back, examined it. They were like, okay, how are we going to make this work? I think they're a little bit too much thought. I mean, was he trying to be funny, or this was like serious guy?
Yeah, I think it was serious. Now that you mentioned it, I said I liked it at first, but now you've tainted my jury pool. Now that you've said that, I think I agree with you. He's that guy where you'll tell a joke, and he'll be like, well, actually, the joke won't work this way because XYZ and BTF and the sun and the moon and the tides and the waves. Yeah, it's like he's like one of those guys. Ruins the joke by being a little too I don't know, technical. Here's another one.
Halle Berry has a tight end.
Yeah. That she does. Here's one from Thanos. Apparently Thanos is jumping in on this, and Thanos has the last name of Escobar. So Thanos Escobar tweeted out a segue into a nice steak dinner, and then he uses a charming Ryan Reynolds gif. I like it. Oh, you're calling stinker on that one?
Yeah, I'm going stinker. Maybe
Sorry, I have
it
a
looked
man
more entertaining on Twitter, but the way you described it
was
just
awful.
didn't get my juices pumping.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just a sucker for Ryan Reynolds. I have a big man crush on him. And my top one, my favorite, Shaz at Solid Us Shaz tweeted out.
Oh, you're my boy, Shaz.
Yeah, you're my boy, Shaz. He says it means take the top off in quotation marks of the defense. #swordfish.
Ooh, that's a good reference.
It was a great reference and a good.
It's definitely a thinker.
It's definitely a thinker.
Getting me thinking
about some other things. Well, Loudbeard, that's all I got.
Take the rest of the show off.
Take the rest of the show off. Take a cold shower and go to work.
All right. You know, you talked about this. You're like, oh, one of your favorite celebrity crushes, and then you went into Halle Berry. I thought you were going to go into Ride or Die, Kate Upton. Her and Justin Verlander welcome a baby girl into the world. I just wanted to say one of our celebrity crushes, one of our favorite listeners of the show, Kate Upton, congratulations. Her little girl Genevieve has been brought into the world. I just wanted to throw that out there. We're going Holly Berry. I got to throw out my other celebrity crush, give her some love.
You made me think that they were breaking up, and I thought I had a chance to get with her, and then you just crushed it with, no, they're very much in love and having children together.
Yeah, you could become Stepdaddy America.
Oh, man. Stepdad America.
Yep. Not baby daddy. Not baby daddy. Other
Not
daddy.
the mama.
Not the mama. So, yeah, then there's that. You know what? We got about less than 10 minutes left of the show, and we need to not talk about basketball at all. Chris America, I like talking about basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. Second to football. I'm a big basketball guy. So just got to throw out a few things going on. One, your buddy Draymond Green gets a little heated with Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant gets a little heated with Draymond. The Warriors lose another game. That is their second loss in the last 3 games. Is this team unraveling? Is Draymond Green giving up? Is he not going for the win? What's going on with this Warriors team, Chris America? Should I be worried?
Yeah, and remember when they signed DeMarcus Cousins and everybody talked about how he would affect the chemistry and everything going around on that Warriors team? He still hasn't even played yet, and the Warriors are kind of showing they don't have that team chemistry that they did. Last night, Draymond Green rebounded the basketball with 5 or 6 seconds left, and he's the one that decides to take it up the court. He doesn't pass to Durant. He doesn't pass to any of the actual ball handlers on the team. He just drives down the court, does this awkward drive to the lane, loses the basketball, and then time expires, and it goes to overtime where the Warriors eventually lose. I don't know what Draymond Green is thinking, and I think that's worse than the J.R. Smith thing, because at least with J.R. Smith, he has the excuse that he just didn't know. He had no clue what was going on, and you can make fun of him for that, but there's been times where we don't know what's going on in our lives, so it's hard to judge. But Draymond Green knew what the exact situation was, and he didn't care to throw the ball to anybody who could actually do something with the ball. He decided to take upon himself. His big fat ego got a hold of him and said, no, you drive the lane and you go be the hero. And they end up losing because of it. And I think that's worse than what J.R. Smith did.
Yeah, it is a little bit worse. I agree with you on that. And I look at it as this team, they had this emotional leader in Draymond Green, and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were more of the cool, laid-back, less emotional guys. Well, you bring in Kevin Durant, and yes, it's worked because they've been winning, but just wait until kind of that shine gets wore off. And it's been a couple years now. They've won 2 championships with Kevin Durant. This team isn't as hungry, and you have 2 really emotional guys in Kevin Durant and Draymond Green, and I feel like this could be a little bit of... it's just that time. When you have a coworker and you're working with them and you're like, okay, they're okay. And then after 2 years, you're like, oh my gosh, this person's just driving me absolutely nuts. Yeah, that's, I think, what's going on right now with Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. And I'm sure having Boogie Cousins there does not help because he's another emotional guy. He's always getting into stuff. They're asking for trouble. I don't know, bringing in DeMarcus Cousins was a great idea for the Warriors, but we still think that they're the favorites to win it all because they have so much talent. I'm not going to go crazy and not say that, but we might see a little bit of a letdown year for them because maybe they're not as hungry as they were. You see these teams that win championships over and over. Each year they get a little bit less hungry, and I'm just waiting for that next team that is hungry, that's ready to step up to kind of ruin this party. And after this season, Kevin Durant could walk. He could go into free agency, and the rumors are he's going to test free agency. So if this season doesn't go the way the Warriors expect, if Kevin Durant leaves, it's going to change the whole landscape of the NBA.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And these other guys, I think, are going to make decisions too. I think we sometimes get, as humans, we get complacent with success. We get bored with success. We want new challenges in a lot of ways. And then the other thing too is, once you've won 4 championships, that's no longer a top thing to you. Then other things become more of a priority. I want to be the star of a team. I want to be the head guy. And that becomes more of a priority to you than winning championships because you have 3 championships. What's another championship to you? Yeah, it adds to your legacy, but maybe Draymond wants to be the leader, wants to be the head guy, wants that when the team wins, the media just flocks to him and says, "Hey, what did you do to lead your team and everything else?" And he's not getting that right now. You talked about how he's the emotional leader, but nobody's coming to him to say, "Oh man, that was a big 3-point shot," or "That was a big drive by you." They're going to Curry, they're going to Durant, they're going to Thompson. You know what I mean? So he's not even Robin. He's whatever is the lowest form of the Justice League.
Batgirl.
Sure, he's that.
Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl. There you go.
That's what he is.
Oh man. Well,
Poor Draymond.
One team that's doing the opposite of what the Warriors are doing, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder. 8 in a row, you said, right?
Yeah, they win another good game last night. Yeah, it is up against the Suns, so I'm going to preface it with that. Now, Westbrook is still out. He's nursing that ankle injury, but Paul George steps up. He goes for 32 in this win, and 8 wins in a row. Oklahoma City's looking pretty formidable right now. It's 118-101. They handled the Suns pretty easily. So, yeah, they're looking hot, and I'm glad to see that. I think Oklahoma City, I kind of feel bad for this team because they were really bad. They moved from Seattle to Oklahoma City. The city loved them. They got some really great early draft picks. They have James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant on the same team, and they could never win a championship. And, Harden gets traded because they couldn't afford to keep him, which in hindsight, I would have paid the luxury tax if I was a billionaire. But, hey, Who am I? I'm not a billionaire. I can't make that decision. But they should have tried to keep James Harden at all costs. And then Kevin Durant walks. So now they're left with Russell Westbrook. They've gotten fortunate bringing Paul George in, but I think this is a team that I just feel bad because Kevin Durant walked. I don't think the fans of Oklahoma City deserved that. So I like seeing Oklahoma City do well. So this was another great showing for Oklahoma City. Hopefully this is a precursor to what their season's going to be, and that's a lot of winning that I expect in their future.
Yeah, we said they've won 8 in a row. We don't want to piss off any Dallas Maverick fans. We know we have a few Dallas Maverick fans that listen. They did lose to the Mavericks their last game, so they won 8 of their last 9.
I missed that one. My bad. My bad. That's me.
Yep, that's okay. No, that's me too. I said 8 in a row first, but the New York Knicks, the Phoenix Suns, and the Sacramento Kings are their next 3 games, so they'll most likely be 11-5 by the end of that run. And Thunder are looking good, but Loudbeard, we got 2 more minutes. Why don't you tell us who the rookies who look good are in baseball? We had some awards handed out.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year. We got AL Rookie of the Year, Shohei Ohtani. He was the big story going into the year, the guy that could pitch and hit, 2-way player. You don't see that very often. He gets the big award for Rookie of the Year, so congratulations to him. He's the Angels superstar in the making. Hopefully his career continues to be on that upswing as we see him win this great accolade. And then on the National League side, the Braves, they've got a good one in Ronald Acuna Jr. This guy was nailing out home runs left and right, doing his dirty work. Great job over there in the National League. No surprises with either of these selections, but it was officially announced. So congratulations to both of those players on great seasons and winning this award that they both truly deserved.
Yeah, it was good to see. And I don't know, why does baseball string it all along? I feel like every other 3 days you're telling me that more awards were given out, and I'm like, can we just give them all at once?
They should do an award show or something. No, they want to I guess
it keeps
guys
them in
get
the
in
news.
a room. They vote for just one category at a time. I don't know what the deal is, but it is weird. It's definitely weird.
I guess it's good that it keeps Major League Baseball in the news, and we keep talking about it when there's so much else going on, like basketball, football, hockey, all those other things. So kudos to baseball, I guess, for doing it that way.
Kudos to baseball. One other little tidbit, Joe Mauer does a press conference yesterday officially retiring from the Minnesota Twins, 15-year career, one of the great hitters from the late 2000s, and just injuries had kind of slowed him down the past few years. So great to see a great MLB legend. He may not be a Hall of Famer, but he is one of the best Twins of all time. So congrats to him and that heartfelt send-off to the Minnesota fans.
Yes, congrats to him, and congrats to us. We just made it through another show. Tuesday show's already over, Loudbeard. We got to run.
Have a great day. Thank you all for listening in. Another great show, Chris America. Thank you,
man.
sir.
If I was on a team, I would rebound the ball and try to drive it down the court awkwardly.
I already missed Nathan Peterman, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to talk about him being gone.
This is for you, Nate.